You have seen this photograph. Rows of violet running to the horizon, low golden light. A couple standing very still in the middle of the flowers. Maybe it's saved on your phone. Maybe it's the reason you are planning a journey to France. Every summer, thousands cross the world to stand in this exact field. It has a name, Valensole. And almost nothing in that photograph is as old as you think. The flowers were planted after the Second World War. The image that brought you here was invented by people who never saw them. For centuries, lavender here was not a landscape. It was a wild plant, gathered by hand on stony hillsides, distilled for soap and medicine. The endless violet rows are something else. They are Lavender, a hybrid, planted in straight industrial lines between the 1920s and the 1950s. The most timeless symbol of Provence is younger than the motor car. It was not designed to be beautiful. It was designed to be harvested. So the romance did not come from the flower. It came from a way of looking. And that way of looking arrived on a train. In the 1850s, the railway linked Paris to Marseille, and the south became a day's journey. The first to look differently was a man born in Aix-en-Provence, Paul Cézanne. From the early 1880s until his death in 1906, he painted the same mountain, Sainte-Victoire, more than 60 times. He was not recording a view. He was hunting for the bones beneath the landscape. Cézanne taught the world that this land had a shape. And at almost the same moment, in February 1888, a Dutchman stepped off a train at Arles, Vincent van Gogh. He spent just over 2 years here. It nearly destroyed him. It made him immortal. He found a light he had never known. The yellows burned, the blues deepened. Cézanne gave Provence its shape. Van Gogh gave it its color. And here is the strange part. Neither of them ever painted a field of lavender. Not once. The railway company that had carried the painters south understood what it now owned. From around 1900, it covered the walls of Paris with posters. Impossible blues, blazing yellows, villages glowing on their hills. The artist's gaze had become an advertisement. Provence was no longer a region, it was a product, and the product was a feeling. French writers like Marcel Pagnol and Jean Giono turned these hills into a legend, but that legend stayed French. Then, in 1989, an Englishman named Peter Mayle wrote a book about an old farmhouse in the Luberon. It became a global bestseller. Notice the pattern. A Dutchman gave Provence its color. An Englishman gave it a lifestyle. Every reinvention comes from somewhere else, and the world follows it here. Which brings us to July 2007. A Chinese network, Hunan TV, broadcast a romance called Yi Lian You Meng, Dreams Behind a Crystal Curtain. The first Chinese fiction ever filmed in France, shot between Avignon and the Camargue. It went straight to the top of the ratings, and for hundreds of millions of viewers, one word became the name of perfect love, Provence. No longer a region in southern France, a promise. The dream traveled further still. In Hokkaido, the fields of Furano built their own violet myth on the other side of the world. So when you stand at Valensole between mid-June and mid-July, when the plateau turns violet and the heat lifts that scent you already know, you will not simply be visiting a place. You will be standing inside a work of art. The field is real. The light is real. The scent is real. The dream was built, over more than a century, by people who taught the world how to look at it. And the moment you lift your camera, you are finishing the painting.